What's that?
I could watch on this too, right?
You could if you wanted to, yeah.
Are we live?
Yeah, we're live. Yo, what's going on? Welcome to Talking Music here and Other Stuff podcast with myself, M-Balm, and Randy of the Montage Music Hall. We're here live right now.
Good morning, Vietnam.
I know, it's basically like that right now.
Happy Super Bowl Sunday, bro.
Today is Super Bowl Sunday. Yeah, dude. I am freaking stoked about this. Are you ready for this?
We are. You know, we were talking about that earlier. I think a lot of Bills fans are just bummed that we're not in it. The team that always makes sure that we're not in it is in it again. So, I mean,
Kansas City.
I'll be watching.
Kansas City versus the 49ers. This is just like it was in 2020 when COVID was a thing.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy.
What you got any what are your thoughts?
My thoughts? I hate to say it, but Kansas City's probably going to take this one. I hate to say it.
I think so. That's the consensus too with all the commentators and whatnot. So,
and again, we touched upon this last week on the episode. We talked about Taylor Swift, the conspiracy theory, the tinfoil hat theory, and then all of a sudden, people were talking about that a little bit. We talked a little bit about it on the show last night on the M-Balm effect. We're like, hey, what if this does happen? Again, like we said, I don't believe this is something that's going to happen because she's already elevated. She doesn't need this push. This is just a normal season. But here's a good question. Are they using each other? Is Kelsey and Taylor Swift using each other to kind of just, I don't know, gain publicity?
I don't think. I mean, yeah, we touched on that. I don't think so.
No.
I mean, who's it benefiting?
Right. I mean, at the end of the day, who is it benefiting?
Yeah. I mean, you'd have to go you'd have to go down such a long road for that to, if this was all constructed so that this team was going to be in the Super Bowl and the overall objective was to have more viewership. Because I know the viewership has been down in the last few years.
Oh, yeah.
It just, is it really going to make that big of a difference?
No, I don't think so.
We're going to gain some 20-year-olds that are going to watch the Super Bowl today.
I don't think so.
It's either on at your house or it's not.
It's either happening or it's not. I mean, look, at the end of the day, you're either a Super Bowl fan or a football fan or you're not. So anyone who's watching the NFL all season long, you're going to be watching the Super Bowl because if you're not, well, chances are you're not a Super Bowl fan or you're not an NFL fan.
Yep. But,
look, I'm not a 49ers fan. I'm not a Kansas City fan, but I'm still watching it.
Give me your score. Where do you think the final's going to be?
If I want to be realistic, I think this will be a close one. This probably could be won by Kansas City with a field goal. So something ridiculous like, I don't know. I mean, do you think it's going to be high or low scoring?
So I'll tell you mine first. I think we're 31-21 KC.
31-21?
Yep.
I was going to say 21, maybe, I don't know.
If you feel a field goal, then
yeah. So 3 points more than that. So 21-24, something crazy like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think it's going to be a close game. I also think that, people might think 49ers are going to win. They might be in the lead a little bit at the beginning, but at the same time, I don't know.
Let's lock that in. So we're 21-24?
21-24.
So 24 KC. All right. I'm 31-21. M-Balm 24-21.
I mean, I'm hoping I'm wrong. Because I don't want to see Kansas City win again. I don't want it.
Yeah, I just, I don't know. Dude, I don't have a horse in that race.
Me neither, I guess.
I mean, it got to the point with New England that, it was like, come on.
Yeah, well, that's just it. Like, are these the new New England Patriots?
Well, that's the other commentary that's been going on all week is like, start chasing that 6-ring title that Tom Brady has.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Patrick Mahomes is the new Tom Brady,
right.
But he sounds like Kermit the Frog. So I don't know. I mean, it's just one of those things, but he has won multiple championships now.
Yeah. And, once again, I guess we can touch on what do you think about the halftime act Usher this year? I mean, do you know that like Jay-Z and you and I aren't historians on any of this kind of stuff, and I certainly ain't. So I don't know exactly what his title is in the NFL right now, but he's the one that has got something to do with the booking of the talent for the halftime show. So we've seen it be, Beyonce and Rihanna and now Usher and which, God bless, but, Jay-Z, let's, I mean, can we do the Chili Peppers next year?
Yeah, I know. Something like That's chili
I'm
peppers.
just saying, just mix it up.
Yeah, because this is bringing.
It's not a black and white thing.
This is a 2000. It's like 2004 all over again.
Yeah.
I feel like we're living 20 years ago.
Right. Well, and okay, let's put it in the context of solo artists. Let's go back to a band setting for the next one.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to have anything crazy like Metallica come in.
Jay-Z, here we'll give you we'll reach out, dude. I'll give you my digits. We can talk.
Yeah, why not?
Just let's get a band in there next year.
Let's get something.
Yeah.
I mean,
Ushers. Look, we're not discounting any of those people, but it's like let's mix it up.
Let's
we're
have a
talking about
variety.
that with the teams.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that with the halftime show.
Yeah. I mean, we need variety. Variety is not a bad thing.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I bet we won't be the only ones that comment on this.
I hope
Tomorrow
not.
or the next day. That'll probably be something, because no one's going to comment on the halftime show until the halftime show is over.
Yeah, we don't know what's going to be.
I'm not talking about the halftime show itself.
No.
I'm talking about who they're choosing.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with black artists, white artists, or whatever. But it's like, we're same format, same genre. Let's move on. Let's get a band.
Let's throw a band in there. Let's throw a rap artist, and hell, let's go EDM. Let's throw some dubstep in there. Get some excision in there. I don't know, something. We'll do something. A little variety.
Something different next year.
But Super Bowl. This is the day where you sit back with a whole bunch of family and friends. You eat pizza. You eat all kinds of junk food. You drink beer probably, and you just let loose. I have a thing though. I feel like this day should be moved on to a Saturday, because I feel like Sunday's a little hard to do, since Monday's typically the day you go back to work, and then you have people calling off because they're a little hungover. I mean, Randy, what do you think about that?
So I saw something. My guy Chris that works for me, he said something last night. I don't know if there's any validity to it, but like they were talking about like having the Monday after the Super Bowl be a day off day, like I don't know, holidays like. I don't know, you could term it a holiday.
Yeah.
I don't see that happening. I mean, it is what it is, dude. Monday Night Football runs late. Thursday Night Football runs late. The Super Bowl's over by, 10 o'clock or something like that?
Yeah, it's something like
10:30?
that. Give or take.
Just, come on.
Depending on if Mahomes is crying or celebrating on the field.
I mean, I don't see that that's something that we need to.
No, we don't need to have that Monday
explore.
off. I really do think they should just kind of shift it over to a Saturday. That way you don't have to worry about taking off on Monday. You don't have to do a holiday on Monday. You move it over on a Saturday. Now, is it beneficial to them? I don't know.
Never going to happen.
I don't know if that's,
never going to happen.
Super Bowl Saturday, does that sound good?
Well, that's what I'm saying. that was going to be my point right there. It's been Super Bowl Sunday for 58 years.
I know.
We're not changing.
We're not changing.
We got we're getting off on a whole other tangent, but we got to stop all this changing of everything that was the norm.
I know, like Halloween, they tried to do that.
It's Jesus, and God, not everybody needs to have a freaking say in everything.
Yeah,
I don't need, let's just leave shit alone. Valentine's Day is Valentine's.
We're going to move that too?
We're good.
Charlie says, do Saturday. See, Charlie even he agrees. He wants it on a Saturday. That way, dude, you can drink, you can do whatever you want to do. You can party all night long. Celebrate your team's win if you're a fan of the team. And then the next day, you don't have to wake up and go, oh, I have to go to work.
Yeah, but people don't get the day after Thanksgiving off.
True.
Which is the same thing, that people party, people eat to excess. Yeah.
Are we going to move Thanksgiving to a Monday now? Like, what are we going to do next?
Yeah.
What's happening?
Yeah. And look, if the Super Bowl is on a Saturday, it fucks with my schedule here at the Montage. And
you don't want to do that.
For that alone.
See, Randy's got some horse in this play. He's
I got a horse in that race, bro.
He does. He doesn't want to.
I have a silent disco to do next year at the same time as we did last night. We can't fuck with that.
Dude, could you imagine though, Super Bowl at the Montage?
Well, we do have the big screen now that we put up, so we've got 12 foot of resolution going.
It's true.
So we do have a new toy, and I was like toying with that idea this year. Should we do, should we have people here we've got chairs, we've got a big screen now. It looks amazing.
Yeah.
Actually, like I said, the resolution is better than an LED video wall.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Maybe next year, but I don't see the Super Bowl changing from a Sunday to another date. But
No, you never know. And hey, all of you out there, leave a comment down below. Let
Yeah.
us know what you feel. I mean, would you like it still on Sunday? Do you like it the way it is now? Or do you want to see it on a Saturday where you can come to the Montage, have a party, all these big things, the big screen, all that stuff on the screens. You can come here and party, have a great time. Or do you just want the mundane Sunday?
I'm totally open to that, for sure. Just got to utilize the weekend.
Yeah, I agree.
I got a little list of things to talk about.
Okay.
Have you been tuning into any of the Shannon Sharp stuff?
No.
Is it Club Shay Shay, I think?
Club Shay Shay. It might be.
Really? So this whole Cat Williams thing that hasn't been on your radar?
So I saw a little bit of Cat Williams going off on a tangent, and I'm not sure exactly. I've heard people say, well, he's a hypocrite, this, that, and the other. I've heard people say that, he's telling the truth.
Yeah.
I don't know. Cat Williams, I mean, this guy, didn't he attack somebody at a Target? I don't know.
Well, these are just, you and I have these conversations too about YouTube in general. We're a little frustrated not frustrated, but, we know that this world that we're in right now, Western New York and certain age demographic and whatever, I'm a big podcast watcher. You're a big, you do podcasting and you probably have a variety of like what you watch.
Yes.
This is the thing, and this is where you're going to start to get more of your information. This is where you're going to get more truth. Yeah, I think a lot of the people that saw what he did, there's been mixed reactions. It's either been, other people in his industry or the entertainment industry that are in his circles or have worked with the same people, Harvey and just all these other comedians and TV people and whatever, they have the same comments. So he then booked Monique this last week.
Oh.
And that has almost gone as viral. And I think that she got a hold of Shannon and said, look, have me on, because I'd like to sort of comment on what Kat said. And I've gone through a lot of the same experiences with a lot of the same people.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of feedback from, people that have watched that are in that world that say that a lot of what he says is true, that this one stepped over that one, this one, wanted to, stole jokes, did this, did that, did the other. So yeah, it's been quite the whirlwind.
It has been.
Yeah. And again, this is kind of stuff that, moving forward, this is where people are going to, tune in and kind of get this. I think it's like 58 million views for the Cat Williams thing.
It's a lot of fucking views.
Yeah. And I think this Monique thing is like, it's not close, but it's getting there.
It's getting there.
Yeah. So yeah, it's,
Yeah.
it's just crazy. So our 2 cents, I don't, again, I don't have much of an opinion on it, but it's like, it's where people are going to start to get on these podcasts and air dirty laundry.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing.
Well, I think at some point, it's not the best of things to do. It's not the most healthiest way of going about it. But at the same time, I mean, being a podcast host myself, I kind of know how it is to be like, hey, be authentic, be genuine. Just say what's on your mind. But, it's good to have that discussion. But at the same time, it might also cause some controversy.
Well, controversy, backlash, canceling. But, this is all how the Harvey Weinstein stuff all started. A couple of people came out. It snowballed. More people came out. So, having this guy that was using those tactics with actresses, it's a good thing that stuff is, done. I mean, there's nobody in Hollywood that's going to be pulling that kind of crap anymore.
Oh God, no. And Charlie says it's all content. Well, you're right. It is all content. Right. Charlie also did say, he goes, I would rather come see it in a group setting. Super Bowl. He goes, I like it at the Montage. That would be so dope. So see, there's a fan out there that would,
Next, we just got this screen applied and just started using it and whatnot. So it was a little late to try to get all that up and running and try to get, hey, the Super Bowl Sunday. And, that's something that, I'd want to plan properly where there's food and,
oh God, yes.
So we'll look at that down the road, but.
That would be cool, man.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
So it was kind of ironic because last week we were talking about, big stories in the music world. And one of them, Randy did say, at least we're not talking about a death that happened in January. Well, unfortunately, there was a death that happened in February.
Yeah.
Toby Keith of the country world. That alone is just, it's wild. And as I was reading all this and I went back and edited that episode, I go, wow, that's ironic.
Well, yeah. I mean, it seems like we start off every year, 1, 2, 3, 4,
Yeah.
major music or actors or whatever. It's just a doom and gloom month as we kick off every year.
Yeah.
So yeah, like a week or two ago, we were just shooting the shit about, not about any point for a podcast, but it was like, this seems like we scathed out of January, man, without a lot of like celebrities or whatever dying. And
Yeah.
well, let's hope that this isn't first in a chain.
Well, you know what they say, they come in threes, and I hope not.
Yeah, right.
God, it's like,
I mean, people die, so it's,
right.
it is what it is. But it just seemed like every year that January was like
dead set, no
Yep.
pun intended.
Yeah.
I mean, do you believe in the whole threes? It comes in threes, they die in threes type thing?
I guess.
Yeah.
Because it does seem that there's a pattern there.
I mean, there's a little bit of a pattern there. I mean, you always notice it in the music world, in the wrestling world, or in the sports world in general, or anything like that. It seemingly happens where there's like one person that dies, then a week later another one, and a week later another one. It's like kind of weird.
Yeah, look, we'll find out.
We will, and hopefully it's nobody.
By the time we hit next week's podcast and the week after, we'll see what has transpired, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just never know what's coming around the next corner.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and I was just touching more on that, like whole calling people out and stuff like that. That's a big thing. I've recently had a little bit of that going on. I hesitate to talk about it, but all of this stuff. What do you do when you get somebody that just wants to be that keyboard warrior on Facebook? Whether you're all the way down from a Cat Williams to my world of what somebody wants to say that transpired here, or has their own version of something that went down, which recently just happened to me. And it's, what do you do? What do you do in that situation? I've always, myself and other promoters that I know in the area, when some of this stuff happens, you just leave it alone. You don't pour gas on that fire. But it's like sometimes you're like Cat. You get well, I should defend what happened because what this person said was total bullshit.
Absolutely.
I doubt this person is watching, but again, I just had this happen over the weekend, and it was like, you just get like, with people like, really? Yeah. So I don't know.
There's always gonna be trolls out there. There's always gonna be haters. Use them as fuel, people. Yeah. Use them as motivation. Get up out there, get it, get out more, and do your thing. Use that as fuel for your whole entire embodiment of just ambition and motivation, because that's what I do. Honestly, I mean, I've been around doing this podcasting for 5 years. You already know we have people that talk shit on YouTube and all that.
Yeah,
seen it,
well,
and I try not to indulge myself in it because it's not even, it's pointless. But what I do is also say, well, fuck them. Usually people that do that have nothing going on for themselves.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, if people would use the energy that they use for that kind of shit, when they've got an itch to scratch, the issue that you're scratching probably never would have arose if you put that energy where that energy should have went.
Yeah.
And this is a perfect example of what I went through, that there was no misunderstanding with this particular issue. And it was like, dude, the amount of energy that you're putting in being an asshole about something that was your doing, your fault.
Yeah.
That had you been this motivated to get from point A to point B as we should have, there would have never been the issue to begin with.
Exactly.
And then when that took place, you went, 100 miles an hour to try and act, when I don't know.
Yeah,
it's just ridiculous.
We can't control what we can't control, but at the end of the day, we can control how we react to things. I don't like to acknowledge those who are saying some negative shit. I mean, honestly, though, that's what what they want. They want that reaction.
Yep. They want that. Yeah. You're right. I mean, we've talked about this before too, that,
oh yeah,
that's, people go off and do shit like that on Facebook to get attention.
Oh, they do. And the fact of the matter is most of these people that say that shit on Facebook would never dare say that in front of you in person.
Right. And, more often than not, and I've had this conversation with family members that, it's not about you, it's about them. It really is.
Yeah.
And ultimately that person will get their gratification from other people in their circle, but it still doesn't mean that those people are doing, they're kind of chiming in and saying, oh yeah, we get you and sorry that happened, or whatever the case may be. But, they're also looking at it like, dude, why? Why did you have to go on this little rant on Facebook?
Yeah.
You know, for whatever happened, that's between you and the other party, whether it's a family member, it's somebody that owns a music venue, it's somebody that owns a restaurant. You know what I mean? They're just, I don't know, man. There's this platform sometimes is just used for the wrong things.
Social media is either a blessing or it's damning.
Toxic.
It's toxic.
Yeah.
Christopher Michael says, stay blessed, y'all. Speaking of blessed. Thanks, man. You stay blessed as well. Look, social media, it's nice to be able to keep in touch with your family, your friends, and also get to be able to promote your music or like shows you have going here on the Montage or our podcast episodes. It's nice for that aspect. Granted, we have that throttle of reach, but at the end of the day, it can also be used as toxicity.
Yeah.
People have negative things to say.
Negativity and you know, and I think this is what, you know, puts people further in that hole of depression and anxiety because they're just waiting for the next thing to be said or somebody to post a picture, or, you know, and it's, I don't know. I don't live on Facebook other than the Montage and what I do for it and with it. You know, it's a tool that I need to use. I get on in the morning and I see what's going on. It seems to be the most pleasant part of Facebook is in the morning.
Yeah.
And then I like Instagram a little bit better because it's not filled with comments where every little thing has to have, you know, a comment. I mean, it's like, dude, when I post something about a show or this or that, it doesn't mean that you have to jump on and, you know, whatever it is. I don't like this. I don't like that. It's like, dude, you know what?
You don't have to.
Whatever. Just,
you know, scroll on by.
Yeah.
A lot of people feel like they have to say something when they see something they don't like. And I'm just like, dude, I just scroll. That's all I do.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
I think it's an addiction. I honestly do. I believe that there's some type of addiction that goes hand in hand with these social media platforms. People feel like, so when you get likes and reacts and all that, you get that dopamine, I guess, that comes in.
That gratification.
Yeah. Again, we talked about it before, instant gratification. It doesn't exist. We think it does sometimes, but at the end of the day, it really doesn't.
And this, you know, this is the stuff that all these guys were brought in front of Congress again for last week, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't, you know, I mean, these cycles move so quick that, you know, there's nothing these guys are going to be able to do. They can't filter this out and filter that out. You know, I mean, I don't think that these guys ever thought that these platforms were going to be what they were going to be.
No.
You know, to the extent that, you know, there's hackers and there's this and there's that. And, you know, it just moves too quick.
Yeah.
You know, and people are on it too often.
Very often. Charlie says, if I didn't need my Facebook to promote my music book or the podcast, I wouldn't use it. I just had to make a new one because I got locked out of my original Facebook page.
Well, y'all be careful of that too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I get, you know, whether it's UPS saying that a package is lost, log on. But I shit you not, once a week, I'm being told that my Facebook page for the Montage is going to be shut down for this, that, or the other.
Oh, I've seen those.
Every week. Don't, you know, make sure you just don't fall into that and like delete your page or whatever it is.
Don't do that.
It's a tricky situation. But look, if you haven't posted something that you know has been copyrighted, which you would get a flag for that first.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or you haven't done something like that, then chances are that's fake.
Oh, 100%.
You know, and I think that it's fooling a lot of people. And it was like, yeah, my page was hacked. Well, is that just something that you're getting in your messages? Somebody saying like, you know, and then it'll go every couple of days, like more or less. It's not saying it like this, but like, Randy, we told you 2 days ago, we're shutting you down. Randy, we told you 2 days, you know, it's like every couple of days. And I'm like, okay, well,
then just do it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
If you have the power, just do it.
How many fucking days are you going to keep saying you're shutting me down? And then I just learned like this is bullshit.
It is bullshit.
But you got to watch everything.
Oh God, yeah.
PayPal is constantly saying that somebody bought something, and I'm like, nah, I'm not going there. And it doesn't even look like the right logo.
No, it's sometimes it says somebody just purchased airfare tickets for $400. You're like, bullshit.
Yeah.
Look at your bank statements, by the way. Don't look at that. Don't even sign in from that link that it tells you, because that's the worst thing you can do.
Yeah. You know, and one thing too, if you have parents that are older and whatever, God, you know, make sure that you're having that conversation with them. I mean, my mother-in-law, and you know, she's given her social security number out and bank information, and you know, we constantly have to like go and fix that stuff. So yeah.
And that's the worst, you know. And of course, the elderly fall victim to this because they don't know any better. They're not up to date on the new technology that we have. So they are at the will of whoever's emailing them or calling them.
I mean, because there was a time, where you would get a letter in the mail and something was legitimately wrong. The account is frozen for this, or, we've noticed suspicious activity or whatever. And now you don't know what to believe when you get these emails.
No, you don't. And that's just it. Like especially these gift card scams, it's kind of wild how people are going to Best Buy buying these gift card scams after it's already been known for like a year or two that these are the biggest scams out there. And yet people are still doing this. They're still buying these gift cards and giving people money. It's wild.
Yeah. I was going to talk to you about, like, Ryan was on, was it yesterday, right?
Last night. Yeah. Ryan from Perspectives, Ryan Holt. Yeah. He was on with us.
Fist bump. Yeah. It's just like, 10 minutes on his name. But it's funny when I listen to some of that stuff, me and my daughter were like, I would be like Ryan, and she's like, it's not Ryan, it's Rain. I'm like, I don't think it's Rain, and I was, thank God that he kind of squashed all that last night. It is Ryan.
It's Ryan.
Ryan Hold.
Ryan Hold.
Yeah. But for the longest time, I'm like, so I don't know if Ryan known him for like a year, maybe a little bit more.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I'm like, so have I been, so I'm calling him fucking Ryan, and that's wrong no. So I'm no. I was right all along.
People were calling him Rain. I heard all of it, but I was like, damn, I don't even know. And he squashed that shit last night.
Yeah, it's Ryan Hold, so Ryan for short.
He goes as long as it's close. You call him Rain, it's not close.
Yeah, well, yeah, right, yeah. Yeah. And his last name, just forget about it. I mean, Jesus, Shepard Hold. I don't know how to say that.
Shepherd John?
Is that what it is?
I don't know. And if Ryan Hold, if you're watching this right now, or even after the episode, correct me if I'm wrong too, because I don't want to butcher your name. That's the last thing anybody wants.
I shot him a text earlier and was like, dude, we're going to be doing the cast a little bit later. If you're not doing any, stop in, because we're going to start doing that too. I even put that on Facebook. If you're in the area today, I mean, if we know you, I'm a fucking stranger sees it. It's like from fucking Boston. It's like, well, that wasn't for you. Stop in, but. Yeah, his comments, like we were talking earlier about, like, you should see all the shit under the stage at the Montage. I'm like, how the fuck are you seeing what's under the stage? There's a gap, I think, in the if you're looking at the drum riser from being in, the audience percent, there's like a gap in one place where you can look down and see like maybe some drumsticks and guitar picks, but I don't know how the fuck he's seeing under the stage.
I don't know.
God bless you if you're crawling, if you're digging that deep. Well, and I don't think he's ever been here when we like pulled one of the speakers out or anything like that.
It's like fucking Narnia under there, right?
Well, I can tell you one thing. There's a couple of cell phones under there.
Really?
Yep. There's been bands, national and local, that have dropped cell phones off of their cabs, have dropped down that crack. They're gone.
Oh, man.
Yep.
That's where they lay to rest, those phones.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Funny during a performance, you hear a phone ring, and then that never did happen, by the way. Yeah.
Charlie says, I'll be right over, because you were saying if you're in the area.
And you know what else you guys were talking about? You touched on for a second was like comedy.
Yeah.
Well, I've got something I'm going to be rolling out real soon.
It's true.
I want to start to get into. Should I give this away?
I don't know, man. It's on you.
Fucking stolen by Monday morning. It was like, and then somebody else starts doing it.
I don't know.
See, there's another thing, man. I should have had on my list of shit to talk about. I got a little pet peeve going with like the constant copying of everything that it seems like I seem to do and throw up, but I'm not going to go down that road. Anyway, of like mixing bands and comedy, to where we throw somebody up in between the set changes.
Yeah.
So I said it first.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's here right now.
I've already got a graphic made on it. I mean, it's something that Ryan and I will probably talk more about, because if people don't know, Ryan's been on board doing some of the booking here lately. Super glad to have somebody, his age.
Yeah.
And it's been something that, he and I have talked about, you and I have talked about. I mean, I want more youthful people being involved with the Montage.
Yeah.
I'm still looking for somebody that wants to do some marketing and, do all that kind of stuff. I mean, this club, there's a lot of young bands that play here, and not that I don't enjoy the dialogue and the interaction with the guys like yourself and Ryan and whatever, but it's, the youth needs to be more involved with this venue, because it's, we do a lot of stuff with like younger bands and whatever. So,
yeah.
And he's also been helping with like the national shows. I starting to dig into that a little bit more, and I'm happy about that, because yeah, I mean, you know, at some point, I'm not going anywhere, but some of this needs to be turned over to the next. I mean, where's the next me that started doing this 25 years ago?
Right.
You know, where's the kid that's in his late 20s or early 30s that wants to be a talent buyer, wants to, you know, run shows here from load in to load out, send the offers, do the settlements at the end of the night with the band, the tour manager, whatever, you know, it may be. But I have yet to find that young lady or young man that, you know, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things, dude. It's, you know, this isn't a job like a Walmart or where you work or where anyone else works, where it's 9 to 5 and there's a paycheck and this and that. It's you've got to learn it. You've got to, you know, want to do it. It's probably always going to be something part-time if you don't own a bar, nightclub, music club like I do. That's the fuller part of all this.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's been a couple of people that have approached me lately and I'm like, but if you want to get into this, and I said this to Ryan, this is how you have to do it. You either have to learn the engineer aspect of it,
yeah,
where you come in and you learn live sound, you apprentice, intern, shadow our sound guys, and they're all more than happy to train people because they get the summers where they get busy and sometimes we're scrambling for that staff. Or you come on board as a loader or a stagehand. There's not a lot of that much anymore. I mean, I rarely will have a tour that comes in where I need a stagehand or loaders and all that kind of thing, but that's just one aspect of it. Or you come on and you're a promoter where you want to come on board and you start booking probably first local shows. And then when you've learned enough about that and you work closely with me to where, you know, I can teach you then how to then start to reach out with emails that are worded correctly to agents and stuff like that to book national bands. So yeah, I mean, it's again, I mean, at some point, you know, I want a vacation in Florida for more than a week at a time.
Yeah, Randy's got to take a little bit of a break. This guy's been working hard.
Well, it's that, but it's just, again, man, you know, you got to find the next wave.
It's true.
I'm not going to be here forever.
Nobody is. Randy won't admit it, but because of him, there's a lot of things that, you know, people have good memories of because this man exists and did the things he did to get where he is today. Like I remember my first time at the Montage Music Hall was 2010. It was December. My ex and I came here to watch a band called Smile Be Soul, and there's a couple other different bands, and I've listened to that band for so long. Well, because Randy got into the business and did all these things, I was able to not only witness them live and watch them up on the stage, but I was actually able to meet them, talk to them, discuss things with them because of you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, man.
Well, thank you. You know, and I get it's been refreshing that the last few years, you know, there's a lot more acknowledgement for that. And it's not why I do it. It's not why I got into this. You know, I've said to multiple people when these conversations, you know, I mean, people know where I am when I'm here, when there's a show. I'm down at the end of the bar, usually on my little perch. And it's been super, super nice. I really appreciate the people in the last, more so than ever, year coming out of COVID, especially. There were a lot of people like, you know, I'm glad you survived. I'm glad you were still doing music. I'm glad that you stayed open. Nobody else was doing it. I'm like, I didn't see that there was a choice. I didn't for 1 second when that came crashing down. I was instantly like, oh, okay, pivoting every step of the way. I'm on Amazon looking for the fucking stickers for the floor, stayed 12 feet apart. You know, I'm buying more stanchions so that knowing that I had to like airport people, you know, to the bar. I'm buying plexiglass. I'm putting down tables. I'm buying chairs. I'm buying food so that fucking Cuomo's little thing with you had to eat a fucking bite of a hot dog before I could give you a beer.
So wild.
I just, you know, so that was one part of it. And I just think as the years go by and I think people recognize like, you know, this guy's getting a little longer or older. He's been here for a long time. You know, they come down and whether I know them or don't. I mean, some people I've known for years and have never said things like that before, but they'll come down and they just like, hey man, I just want to say, you know, thanks for still doing this and bringing the metal bands to town and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, well, you really are all the reason that I do this. I mean, and I say for a lot of these people that come to all these shows, I wouldn't have lasted this long without you, you know? So concert goers and people that come to shows at the club level, you know, I appreciate you as much as you appreciate me. But the point being, it's nice to hear. It really is, that people are appreciative. And again, I think that, the Penny Arcade was like a big staple way before your time. Then I came on board, and the Penny Arcade was still around, and we started to do shows at the arcade and other big venues or whatever. So yeah, I'm a dinosaur here, been doing it for a long time. But when that club finally like met its, whatever, it closed. I think there was a sense in this community, and it's a bold statement, and I don't mean to compare, but I think that they thought that this place became the new Penny Arcade, or it was where people were going to transition. And certainly those bands that played the arcade were bands that I then started to bring here.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, to come back to the beginning of the conversation, it's like, at some point when I decide to not do this anymore, and it's not today, it's not tomorrow, it's not next month, it's not next year, but I mean, at some point, where's the next dude going to be that these agents that I'm working with, it's, get to do stuff. And look, there's After Dark colleagues of mine, great friends, all the guys that do stuff for them. Love those guys. They do a lot for this club. They bring a lot of music into this club. They're more youthful than me. They're not going anywhere, but they're more, Buffalo based and Syracuse based. Well, I want to make sure, that Rochester survives.
Oh, absolutely.
And that there is a body here that is still in connection with these agents to make sure that we are still getting, as many shows as we possibly can, that this Rochester market doesn't become vacant of, Buffalo, Syracuse. No offense, but, so that's something that I want everybody to take notice of too, that, support Rochester, because Rochester is a big music town, always has been. And it's in my opinion, and I think a lot of people would agree with me, Rochester has been the metal market for decades.
Oh yeah, you had the Nerve, you had all that stuff going on even before that.
But I just mean, again, reflecting back on the Penny Arcade, more so, and not that Buffalo wasn't, but Buffalo, I think, it was always a little bit different. I mean, but Rochester's just been the metal market.
Yeah, I mean that's why we always say, support local. Come to your shows, come to your local bands, come to your local venues like the Montage Music Hall, because not only are you helping the bands out and everything else, you're not helping just the promoters and all that, but you're helping just as a whole, the city, the whole town itself, because without us coming here and spending what, $10, $15, $20 on shows and enjoying ourselves, if we don't do that, guess what? Like you said, Buffalo and Syracuse will get those bands. We won't get them anymore. Things will just be like a lull. There'll be a lull here, and then you'll be like, well, why is there no music here? Because you didn't go out and spend the money to go enjoy yourself and watch these bands unfold in front of your eyes.
Yeah. And I mean, we keep preaching the same thing, and I'm going to do it again. And that's why, guys, when you see a show announcement, share it, like it. I mean, some shows get canceled because ticket sales are bad, whether it's the agent in the band that just doesn't like where we're at a certain point and they just decide to scrap it.
Yeah.
Or if tickets aren't selling well at Rochester shows, they decide to start skipping the market.
100%.
So, if you live here and you love live music, whether it's this venue or not, whatever, you got to be part of the solution, not the problem.
Yeah.
And that means that promoting the shows that are coming to your town. I mean, we've only got so far of a reach, and I constantly, it's crazy, dude, that we will announce the show and it's not shared by people.
I know.
And you don't think that it's recognized. It is recognized.
You see it.
I see it,
Yeah,
that it's being shared. And I mean, some shows will see 3 and 4 shares. If you're seeing something, don't just scroll on by. So in the morning when you're doing like what I do on Facebook and you're rolling up and there's this show announcement or that show announcement, share it.
It's free. It's quick.
Yeah. And it's like this. I mean, again, what we're trying to do with these podcasts is, get the John Fives, get the Armored Saints that are coming to town on these podcasts and whatever. And the only way that we're going to get stuff like that done, which then will help get, the show more traction, is if you go, subscribe to this podcast and his podcast and any local podcast. I mean, there's a guy in Buffalo that does Talking Rock or something like that. I'm sorry. I apologize. Rob, I think his name is, if I'm getting it wrong, but search out podcasts that are doing that, because again, these podcasts are the new wave.
Yes.
If you're not into podcasts right now, You're probably not seeing this or hearing it, but anyway, that's where the same thing. Tell your friends, share what we're doing, share the podcast so that everybody's seeing it. Because I'm telling you, this is going to be the new thing. If you're not locked into podcasts now, you will be. Because again, the Jimmy Fallons and the late night guys that are having all these A-list celebrities on, all these A-list celebrities are now doing podcasts.
Yeah.
All the A-list celebrities have podcasts. All the comedians have podcasts. So, you know, we're at the ground level of this, and we need you to help us grow.
Yeah.
And we need you to help this club and every club stay alive, keep alive.
Yeah.
Keep the doors open. And the way that that's going to happen is by you just interacting with this, you know, I just think people don't think that what they could do would make a difference.
It does make a difference.
And it will.
Everything you do makes a difference. Whether you react to the posts, you watch and listen to the videos and the podcasts we do here, and I appreciate you for watching right now if you're on live with us and sharing all these things like Randy was saying, because the thing is though, is these algorithms they're aggressive and they will just throttle your reach. So if you keep sharing and interacting with these posts that everyone, you know, all these locals, it doesn't matter if they're a band, podcast, venue, whatever, please do it. Because that helps gain that reach.
Even if it's a band you don't know. I mean,
who
cares? It's a Rochester band trying to do something.
Exactly.
You know, and it's the same thing we were talking about. Like, you know, I picked up the city newspaper somewhere in this last week. And, you know, that's another thing that I want to start to do with this particular podcast is, you know, all these young people your age that are opening businesses and restaurants and whatnot. I want to travel there. I want to talk to these guys, you know, because this stuff, all of this, it's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. Do you know the risk people take to get something on Park Avenue or Monroe Avenue or whatever and do a build out or do some renovations to get something up and running? These people need a pat on the back.
100%.
Because it's a big freaking risk to do stuff like that. So that's something else that I really want to do. In the same way that I'm asking people to support what we do, well, I should be a, you know, taker of my own advice. And that's one thing that I really want to do is get out into the, you know, the city of Rochester and do things a little bit more with some of these new businesses that are popping up. So again, man, you know, I'm not trying to choke this to death, but
no,
and beat that same drum, but I'm going to. Every podcast, there's going to be a point where
we have to
in it that I talk about supporting local businesses, supporting local music. And when I say supporting it, yeah, go there, spend money, eat, drink, come to the concert, buy tickets, all that other stuff.
Yeah.
But the laptop, the phone.
Yeah, it's right at your fingertips.
You can help all of us. So when you go someplace and eat something, and you know what? Look, if you had a bad meal or whatever, give it a second shot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're somebody that today might be a bad day for you.
Yeah.
That waitress that you had might be having a bad day. Give him a fucking break.
Give him something.
You know, let's not eat it at someplace and go on whatever it is, Yelp and Google and leave a bad review. Go back again. Or look at the reviews before you leave one and see that 15 other people love the place. And then maybe say, you know what, maybe this was just her bad day. Maybe whatever, you know, I didn't like the chicken Marcella. It wasn't my thing. All right, well, but you know, you leaving that bad review hurts. And it can hurt somebody's business. So let's a little more positivity with all that stuff.
Absolutely.
You know?
And Mikey, DJ Primal says, if you ever need graphic art, yeah, go check him out. He's doing all kinds of different graphic art for a lot of different people, whether you're a podcaster, a streamer, a business, whatever. The dude does a lot of work.
Who's Mike who?
Mike DePerna. He goes by the name DJ Primal. He's got his own Twitch channel. He's got plenty of followers on there now. He's been doing this thing for, I think, God, almost 10 years now.
Right.
So he's done a lot of art and stuff like that. So go check him out. He also says that's why radio, advertising, and more has been so important to our hearts and concerts, podcasts, and if not live shows that were on the radio. It helped us grow, connect with others in another state, and so on. Absolutely. You know?
Radio?
Yeah.
Well, you know, look, I've got some tenure in that.
He has.
The radio, look, I get solicited, you know, by local radio. It's just, it's not a team effort anymore. It's just not. You know, now I'm the advocate of like just saying don't be negative about something and give a bad review. And I'm sort of, but you know, ultimately, look, when I was in radio 25 years ago, there was just such a collective effort between music venues. I mean, we were out every weekend, at every rock bar, at every dance club. I had Rock Babes. I had the station vehicle there. We had the banner. We had prizes. We had giveaways. Things were done in trade where, we would give Tremors or Backstreet's radio advertising, and they would give us tickets to shows. So it would be, we'll give you whatever, a week's worth of spots. And, there's a cash that we need, like, okay, it's $1,000 budget. 500 can be cash. 500 can be in something else. And then we would be out at these clubs doing, live remotes or appearances and have concert tickets and movie tickets and CDs and all that stuff. Well, there's not that same thing anymore.
No, it's different.
When I have a John 5 and I get approached, it's like, hey, you want to spend some money on radio? Well, number one, how effective is it going to be? Is commercial radio effective anymore? I mean, I'd rather do something here.
Yeah.
I'd rather, there's social media that has more acknowledgement and traction than what I think commercial radio is going to have. Unless I'm at my pool during the summer and have the radio on, I'm not really listening to commercial radio.
Yeah.
When I'm in my vehicle, it's Sirius radio or it's podcasts.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, they want like a minimum budget of like, you to throw down $1,000 and there's no trade. So it's, the conversation that I'm integrated with that's in the back of my brain is like, okay, can we do this much cash and then I'll give you this much in tickets?
Yeah.
It's not even anything I want to touch.
No.
It's like, no. We'll do the $1,000. It's $1,000 budget, and then we'll do some giveaways.
Yeah,
it's
the
like
giveaways.
So. Like the giving away of tickets is like an afterthought.
Yeah.
It's like we'll do those and maybe and then you never know where your spots are going to lay. I mean, am I going to get morning drive time? Am I going to get afternoon drive time? Or am I going to be stuck? Just is what I'm paying for going to be 1 o'clock in the morning?
1 o'clock in the morning when no one's listening.
No one's listening. So, no offense to radio people out there, but it's like look, that's another thing that don't get me started category that, there was just a huge collaboration 25 years ago with radio and everything else. I mean, the House of Guitars is another thing. There's got to be just so much money spent to just get so much little done instead of having radio stations support us for free.
Yeah.
Or for some sort of trade. To what we're doing. And, there was midnight music sales and all this other stuff. And it's like, it's got to be a give and take, and it's not anymore.
No.
So, I mean, where's the benefit for us?
I don't really see one at this point.
No.
It's like billboards, man.
Not shooting your idea down there, brother, but I'm just telling you the way it is.
The billboards,
the world I live in.
Even billboards, like you look at it, like they're pricey. Billboards.
Oh, yeah.
But I think
I'm not certainly at that level.
No, but I think you get a better reach with social media at that aspect. I mean,
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, and all these tools are free. That's like this. I mean, at some point we've had this conversation too, that, with all of these A-list celebrities that are doing these podcasts, making money and sponsorships, YouTube is going to not be a free resource at some point. And I don't
give them any ideas.
Well, trust me, these ideas are in their head already.
I know they are.
And I don't know that it'll trickle down to somebody that's like you and me, to where they look at like we're starting this thing off and we've got minimal listenership and I've got a couple of sponsorships that are in the works or whatever, but I think this will be more geared to somebody that they can see the analytics are like so big and so high that they're making a big income and they have sponsorships. Those people are going to get tagged for some sort of
if they're not already.
Oh, it's coming. It's coming.
I mean, that's just what happens. There's always been rumors going on like, oh, Facebook and Twitter and all them are going to start charging you to have a membership and all that. And honestly, if they did that, I think a lot of people would drop.
Yeah.
It's like if you had to pay like $15 a month to use Facebook, would you do it? I wouldn't.
Oh God.
That's just crazy.
Well, I mean, they got, as promoters, they've got you already. I mean, if you want to see an ad get any reach at all, it was first. I mean, when the sponsored ad thing started, it was, we were all like $20, $30, $40. And now I don't think, unless you're into the couple hundred and north of that, you're not getting much out of an ad.
Getting nothing.
So, but that's fine. I mean, there should be some money spent for advertising.
Some, yes.
But yeah, I mean, I think you're into a few $100 to get an ad out there that's going to be meaningful at all.
Yeah.
you know?
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, you hear it all the time. People have a problem reaching a lot of viewers, listeners, all that stuff with you're in a band, all that stuff. But like, at the end of the day, it's about consistency too. And there's always these little rules that you have to follow too. Like, don't put a link in your actual post, put it in the comments and all that stuff. So I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Especially with Instagram.
Yes, yeah. Instagram doesn't even allow you to do direct links. You have to do link in bio.
Yep. Which
So,
is, that's fine, I guess.
yeah.
As long as there's a way to get people from point A to point B. And that's the thing, you don't want people to have to go through too many steps to get where they want to be. That's like us. It's like, how do we get, we've been talking about this too on all of our posts. How do we get like a little button there that just would say subscribe? That would be awesome.
True.
Because then it would just be one click. They're at the YouTube channel.
And it's
they
already
hit subscribe. Yeah, it's done. So we'll figure
Everything's
that out.
done.
If anybody is listening to this, watching this, knows how to do something like that a little more efficiently, let us know.
Yeah, that would be very helpful.
Yeah.
Don't feel afraid to you want us to talk about a topic or something like that. Shoot us a comment or something like that and be like, what do you think about this? I think that's also helpful too. If other people are watching and listening to this, give us some topics you want to hear. Maybe we'll already know about it, or maybe we'll look into it and just give you our opinions on it. Music or outside of music doesn't matter. We can always, talk about everything. That's why it says and other stuff podcast.
Yep. Oh yeah. I mean, we've been all over the place today, and we'll continue to be all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you kind of have a little thing today. You're gonna be watching the Super Bowl later, or?
I am. So my wife and I are having some friends over. My first time meeting them. I think she went to school with this lady, this girl, and so her boyfriend or whatever. I don't know if they're married or not. I think they might be married. But anyways, my first time meeting them. So I guess the husband's or the boyfriend or whatever is a little intimidated to meeting me. I'm like, don't be intimidated. Just come over. We'll have a fun time. He likes spicy stuff. I like spicy stuff too. So
break out the alcohol.
Give him some whiskey and
that'll tear that wall down.
It'll tear it right down. Yeah, icebreaker, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna put the game on, have some pizza. It's gonna be a good time.
Oh, so I've got Screamer pulled up, and I do want to, for the few more minutes, and I know we got to cut out early a little bit today. You got something you got to get to.
Yes.
Unfortunately, have you seen this Ozzy Osbourne thing with Kanye?
Oh my God. Yeah. What's up with that stuff, man?
Sampling some music they told him not to.
I know. He said something along the lines of, he was asking permission to use the sample of a portion of music, and he said no because he's an anti-Semite, and Kanye decided, well, you know what? Even though you said no, I'm going to use it anyway.
This guy, dude, he's going to,
fucking Kanye.
My opinion, I think he's just going to blow through all his money.
Oh yeah.
This guy's just going to do shit and get lawsuit after lawsuit, and just, the guy was like close to being a billionaire, if not.
Yeah.
It's like, Jesus.
I know.
I don't know. I mean, just crazy. Yeah. There's just more about that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's one of those things, dude. It costs money to sue people. Things like this, you don't always win.
No.
So it might just be a waste of their time, but I mean, they are definitely calling him out on that.
Yeah, and as they should. I think if somebody's ripping you off after you said no, you have every right in the book to just fucking go off on them, because at the end of the day, you said no. You're not giving them permission, and it's just like they come into your house and take something of yours, and you said not to, and they still did it anyway. Like, would you like that? No. This is your shit. You should be able to stand up for it.
Yeah. And like we were talking about at the beginning, this is the new age, man, where, there's so many platforms for people to just call people out, and now there's a rash, this
big time.
Shannon Sharp's podcast, man, with Kat and Monique. It's just, it could be the start of something that's just going to be a big, everyone that's got something that they experienced in movies or music or whatever, where things went wrong or they were slighted, or, I think we're going to see more of it,
I think so too. I think there's a boiling point to some aspect where some of these, comedians and musicians and actors and actresses and all that, they have, like you said, there's a whole bunch of podcasts out there. So now there's outlets for these people to come on and onto a microphone and just start spewing all this stuff. It's like post-show interviews after a UFC fight or a wrestling match or something like that. And sometimes they say things they're not really supposed to say, and then it blows up.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, look, there's I mean, you go back to like when I was young. I mean, there were a lot of celebrities, both male and female, that were gay, and it was hidden for years. And I mean, you look back at like a band like Kiss back in the day that no one saw them without their makeup for decades.
It's true.
And there was this thing that like if you were a music periodical or whatever, if somebody gave you photos and you published those, you were done.
Yeah.
I mean, the powers that be would just would just squash you.
Yeah.
And now it's just like, there's not a podcaster out there for the most part that's not going to take somebody and put them in a chair now to get up to those views that Shannon Sharp has now from the Cat Williams and the Monique.
Yeah.
So, there's people out there that are like, if this is what you're going to come on for, that I don't want to be that outlet.
Yeah.
Because again, it's a he said, she said.
Yeah.
There's two sides to that story. And not every Kevin Hart and Steve Harvey and everybody else is going to go on and defend what was said about him.
Yeah.
But I do see that this is something that I think that, if people are going to have these people on and let them talk this stuff just to get ratings.
That's I know that's true though. That's very true. Like there's people I've had on, and I know that some people have things going on behind the scenes, maybe a little drama here, then a little controversy there. And I talk to them and I go, listen, we don't have to talk about this. I'm not worried about all that. If that's something you don't want to talk about, that's fine with me, because honestly, I have no horse in that race either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's not a dog I have in that fight. So again, that's not what this should be about. Now, of course, you have some shows and podcasts like that. They enable that. They just go, hey, you know what? Whatever you have going on here in this situation, let's fucking air it. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
And of course, like you said, it's about ratings. That's all it's about.
It is.
How many downloads can you get? How many views? How many listens? How many likes? How many follows? All from one episode.
Yep.
So
and the fact that these things are getting doing the numbers they're doing.
Yeah.
We're just going to see more of it.
See more of it.
This guy's going to be on. That guy's going to be on, and it's just is that what we need right now? I mean, my God, it
gets to be kind of overwhelming.
Yeah, well, it's just that's the bad thing about YouTube right now is there's just with the election and all this shit going on. It's like, my God, the clickbait that's there, and just everybody just pissing and moaning on the other person and the this and the that, and now it's. This one's under mental decline, and this one's getting too old. It's like, well, you know what? It is what it is.
It's weird because, it's, and I don't want to dive too much into it, but it's almost become like I don't know. You ever watch professional wrestling? That's kind of what these elections look like these days. They're literally cutting a promo on each other, and it's like, dude, this is not about entertainment. This is actually a detrimental part of our lives. Everybody, it affects everybody. But you're out here just showcasing, oh, look at me, I can say this, and oh, this person's that. It's like, dude, we have enough of that already in the real world life. Like we don't need this with people that are supposed to be taking control and having power over us.
Well, and the one thing that you can say about a lot of this stuff, dude, is like and then we'll touch on this crap and get off of it. But the presidency isn't a popularity contest. It's not.
Shouldn't be.
It's in the Senate and the Congress and these people not getting anything done because if it's a Democratic thing, then we're not going to push it through. And it's man, there needs to be some change with that kind of crap. We hire these people.
Yeah.
And they're not doing the job that needs to be done. I think that is the thing that should be looked at more than anything.
100%.
Not this person's personality and how loud he is, how much he pounds his fist on the desk, and how much this guy might stutter through an interview. That aside, who's accomplishing something? I mean, at the end of the day, I employ people.
Yeah,
I want people to get the job done.
Yeah.
So if they have a limp in doing it, but they work harder.
Yeah.
And they get the shit that I want done. That's all that counts.
That's all that matters.
And I think you all ought to be looking at, and again, say this and get off of it. Who shows the respect for the position that they're doing, and I don't know, from the beginning, I was always like, and I'm not saying I'm for left, right, whatever, but it's like, I wouldn't hire a person to coach my football team that doesn't know anything about football.
100%.
I would, if I
I
was
wouldn't hire myself for that.
as an owner, right?
I don't know anything about coaching a football
Yeah.
team.
So I mean,
Couldn't tell you.
start to look at like the inside of somebody's heart, soul, what their objective is, and all this drama. It's just leading us down a darker and darker path every year.
Yeah.
I think that was one thing that I've got some show notes here that we've touched on in different aspects, whether it's somebody going on Facebook and complaining about something that is their side of the story, and politics and music, and these podcasts where somebody's coming on and just ranting about everybody that they've worked with and how they've slighted them, and this person isn't this, and this person was brought in by was propped up to be something. He never really went and did anything at comedy clubs. He was handed something by Hollywood and whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what? I don't know. Was any of that? I don't give a fuck how Kevin Hart got to where Kevin Hart is. Kevin Hart is funny.
Yeah.
And Kevin Hart is talented.
And he put a lot of work to get where he is.
Right. So, I mean, I don't know that dude was handed anything.
Right.
I mean, this dude is like a multitasker.
Yeah.
So why aren't we looking at that?
Right.
So, yeah, I don't know.
There's a lot of people. There's some people out there that have a lot of projects going on, like just at once. Like they have a podcast and they're in a band. Now they're doing this reality series. Don't you feel like some of these people have too much on their plate sometimes?
I'm guilty of that in some regard.
I am too, a little
work
bit.
Live Nation and do this, and this podcast thing is something that I enjoy doing, and was told I was good at it when we were starting to do just the audio part of it, and wanted to build this and get a network where other people, we could then help them get more exposure for their podcasts. It'll grow. But I'm like that. I just like to be involved in a lot of different things, and and I like to collaborate with people that like to, do it for the right reasons. That, again, they like you. I mean, I haven't known you for a long time, but man, when we got started, it was like, this is something that you put a lot into, man. You've got a lot of artifacts and a lot of different things that you know how to do. And, look, we're at the ground floor of something that's going to grow. So,
the only way up here is up. It's the only way we're going. We're not going down. No room for that.
I know. Could you imagine? We go on and look, and it was like, dude, we had fucking 342 subscribers yesterday. We're at 339.
Well, sometimes that happens, and I've heard people say that stuff before too, like, I've noticed a decline. You know what ends up happening is sometimes you get bots. Sometimes you get these fake profiles, even on YouTube and all that, and be like, well, I just lost a couple here. Well, that's because you lost a couple bots. They're not even real people like doing anything for your engagement. They're not even watching your videos. They're just robots, just taking up space. So that's what ends up happening. They get rid of those accounts so that way you might see that happen once in a while.
Right.
But for the most part, if you notice a slow trend, hey, slow growth is better than no growth.
Well, again, just you can help us. You can help us at the club level. You can help us at the podcast level.
All of it.
Yeah, all of it. Don't think that you have no involvement, because you do. Any concert goer, any restaurant eater, anything, man, just help out your neighbor. Yeah.
We all live in the same city for the most part.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So
prop it up. Don't bring it down.
Yeah.
So what do you got going on? What's your next? Who's coming on?
So next week on the M-Balm Effect, we have, I want to verify this. I'm sure it's happening because I have it in my calendar. He has it in his calendar. But Joaquin from Insensitive Culture, another podcast here in the ROC in Rochester, New York. He's going to be on with us.
No kidding.
And then the week after that, we have Jeffrey Rogers of GSL News coming in studio. That's huge. This kid is, I think, 21, 22 years old. He's a journalist. He goes out and sees all these crazy things happening in the Rochester area.
Where's he writing? Where can we see his stuff?
So if you go to Facebook and you type in GSL News, you will see that he's got a whole bunch going on. So right now he's currently, I believe, at 40,000 followers. Yeah, he's at 40,000 followers. This kid's pushing a lot of stuff here. Let me go on here real quick. I can actually do this so that way people can see what's going on. So here you are. GSL News. Yep, GSL News. Jeffrey Rogers. He's going to be on the M-Balm Effect here in a few weeks.
Jeffrey, you owe us big time.
It's going to be on the 24th. Man.
Our 4 million listeners.
Yeah, he's got a lot of stuff here. Like I said, he's got a lot going on, and he puts himself in the situation so that way he brings light what we need to see and what we need to hear. So
Awesome.
Yeah, he's a great kid,
Oh,
man.
wow.
He's done a lot of stuff for us in Rochester. You know what I'm saying? So he's definitely
Yeah, I see he's got some. Man, we had a crazy night here in Rochester again last night.
yeah, dude.
A
Rochester.
couple guys got killed, like multiple gunshot wounds. But yeah, I see he's out and about.
Unfortunate. There's a lot of sad stuff going on, but he puts
Yeah, it's
it
right
to
here.
light.
2 people shot and killed on North Goodman Street.
I know.
I wish we could get some of this under control.
I do too. You know, that's
And
stuff
that's another thing, man. It's
hits
not
home.
it's not as easy as it looks.
Oh God, no.
You know, some of these we get a lot of the RPD in here for shows and whatnot. I mean, God bless them, because you know, these people that think that cops are bad and they're this and they're that or whatever. Well, you know, if you walked in their shoes for a couple of days and had to see what they see every freaking night, you know, I mean, I don't want to start to talk about the negative stuff of Rochester, as we've propped up so much positivity of what goes on here in this city. But yeah. So yeah. So what is this? He's just like an independent guy that this is his thing.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he's put a lot of work into this. I've followed him since I think 2020 when he's really young. I mean,
and who's the other guy that's coming on?
Joaquin from Insensitive Culture. If you type in Insensitive Culture on Facebook, you'll find the podcast.
So we need to get him into the network here.
We should.
What is it again? Insensitive?
Yep, Insensitive Culture.
How do you spell that? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, these are the guys right here on the page I have pulled up here. This is their little logo.
Oh wow, there's 3 of them.
Yeah, actually, so it's funny because when I actually was a guest on the show one time, it was an amazing time actually, and so he had three co-hosts. One lives in New York City. Dave, who was actually here at the time with Joaquin, he actually ended up moving to California. So now they do it all through remote. Unless they come in to visit, then they go in studio. But it was a fun time. We did a power hour, which, Randy, have you ever done a power hour?
I don't know what that is. Sounds dirty.
It's it can get messy. Did it a few times on our show. So basically you take a drink each minute for an hour. But we sometimes end up going
Is this
more.
a fraternity?
Oh no. This is straight up a segment. Sometimes we just host a show like that. So me being a guest on his show, this is my first time doing it. And you know, it was a crazy time. We talked a lot about if I remember correctly, granny handies. That was one time, one subject I remember talking about on the show.
That you porn? Is that porn?
No, it was a question. Was you
granny what?
Granny handies? It was a question they asked about. Would
That
you
sounds like a fucking porn search.
No, it was like a would you rather segment,
and so does that.
Yeah, but that's what ended up happening from that power hour. It was kind of crazy.
Granny handies.
It's on. It was one of the episodes we did. It was the only one I was on so far. But yeah, it was a fun time on their show, man. Those guys are funny. Those guys are great. They're always doing different episodes, and I would suggest going and check them out. You know, Sensitive Culture. Charlie says GSL's real gritty journalism. Much respect to Jeffrey.
So who are all these 3 guys?
They're
Joaquin.
Joaquin.
Who else?
John. Oh God, what's his name? I know his name is Johnny.
This one dude looks like Oz Posen.
Which one?
The guy that's in the.
Oh, Johnny.
One of the newest episodes. Yeah, maybe. Huh.
Yeah, they're great, man. So he's gonna be on next week with us, which I'm stoked for, because you know it's like a long time coming. I mean, I was on their show last year, I think.
Oh, so they do a little bit like what we do. They get on and just talk about like
everything.
Yeah, some like hot topics and whatnot.
They talk about hot topics. They do would you rather segments, that's where that came into play.
Dude, like I was gonna, I loved, like I was telling you, I loved what you did with the last podcast we did, where you were like, when we would talk about a certain band or whatever, you were throwing up the images. That was awesome. I see that they do that. Are you going to do that with this one?
So I was going to, and then
but we're live.
We are live.
Yeah.
So, but here's the thing. Next time I'll have it already in. So whatever topics I'll have the photos coming through.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I can make the photos go through.
Yeah, I mean it's a nice little touch.
It is a nice touch. So, and by the way, anybody that's out there that gave us any feedback from the last few episodes, thank you, because that really helps it reach.
We've gotten feedback.
Oh yeah, there's a couple of different YouTube channels and people that have reached out to me
nice.
personally saying, yeah. Quick shout out to Kyle from Legends 24/7 Gym. He actually he talked to me about it one time when I saw him at the gym, and he's like, yeah, I subscribed, I followed, I liked, I watched it. It was awesome. I was like, thank you, because I like hearing the feedback, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And again, we're just starting this one out, so again, we're not. What is this, fourth episode? It's the fourth episode.
Yep.
So
yeah, let's talk to these dudes. We'll be on your podcast if you be on ours.
hey, it doesn't hurt to collaborate.
Oh, that's the way everyone's doing it.
Have to.
Yeah.
Collaboration is nice.
Well, yeah, dude, it's content too.
It is content.
We got to look for people to talk to.
Well, yeah, we have a nice couch here ready to go.
Oh yeah, we got again huge area up here. So
yeah, so let's make it happen.
Yeah, they got some cool graphics. Whoever does some of the artwork for their shit.
I did notice that.
Very
yeah,
nice.
Yeah, they do. They put a lot of good work into their production value.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to check both of these out. Like I said, the news guy there,
GSL News,
Yeah.
Jeffrey Rogers.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think he started his own podcast too. I mean, why not? Everybody's doing it. All the
Right.
cool kids are doing it. Charlie says you guys are killing it. Thanks, Charlie. Dude, Charlie's great. Had him on as a guest a few weeks ago, and Charlie's got a lot of different things. He's actually somebody who raps here in the area, and just he's I think he said he was writing a book. Guy's got a lot of stuff going on.
yeah.
Again,
I'm gonna say it one more time, man. These guys, their graphics are fucking killer.
oh yeah, in Sensitive Culture, they have a lot of cool, different like album or not album cover. I would
if
say
they-
podcast art.
Yeah, I mean, whoever's doing that is like, wow.
Yeah, talented guys. All three of them are talented. What they do
I'll be
is,
the judge of that.
I mean, hey man, I was on there with them. I felt at home.
I'm gonna check their stuff out, man.
Studio's pretty legit too, man. So it's nice.
Where's that located? Or should we not say?
It's in
And
Rochester.
everyone knows where this one is.
Everyone knows where this one is. It's somewhere in Rochester. I will say that. I drove there and
Gotcha.
I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. I walked into the studio and I've watched their videos, their episodes, and I'm like, wow, shit. I'm here. You know what I mean? Like you see it and you're like,
Right.
crazy. Cool setup. He also uses this too. Broadcaster Pro.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, to back up, but we had another day, dude. Another hour of just trying to get shit together. Just trying to. I mean, I don't know what this is going to look like. I mean, just what I can see on your laptop. I mean, the screen behind us is whatever. We're constantly just bear with us, dude. Different. I mean, we were on couches once. Then the next time we're in like reclining leather chairs. Today we're at a table with our laptops. At some point we'll settle into something that works great, get it done. He's got all of his bells and whistles here so that we can bounce back and forth with things. We want to start to do multicam. So again, what you're seeing now is just the beginning of us trying to find our niche of the setup that we're going to use.
And if you have any input on that, if you like this setup or if you like the last setups that we did, or if you have any type of, suggestions, why don't you just shoot us a comment and we'll take it, we'll read it and we'll see if we can implement it into the future episodes. I mean, it doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
So,
and I know I've been asking you a lot of times. Is there a way we can take phone calls like live?
we can take phone calls.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I'll say what you've been saying. That's one thing I'd love y'all, anybody that's watching, whatever. Let us know what you think of that. I'd hate to say we're going to do that for an episode and then nothing yet.
Happens a lot, man. But it's also my fault too, because I also don't advertise it as much as I should. I just automatically assume people already know this.
Yeah, to call in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, the beautiful thing about what we're doing is, again, we'll bring it back to the beginning, is we're doing these on Sundays. So it would be a great day. It's not like we could be doing a podcast Mondays.
Oh God, no.
And feel like people are going to they're working, but on a Sunday maybe in the future, every other episode or whatever, something we do all the time, but we'll have like live phone call day. That could be like a whole thing where
that'd be cool.
People call in and just ask questions, and just try to make that something. And again, if we're doing it at 11 or 12 on a Sunday, people are usually still just hanging around the house and haven't gone and done anything just yet.
Yeah.
Football will be over after today.
After today, football season is officially over. It's kind of sad.
We can take over as your Sunday entertainment.
Yeah.
I'm more than happy to do that.
Doesn't hurt.
And as you touched on that, if anybody's got any ideas of what they'd like to see us do more, do they like when we do the music news or whatever? I mean, I'll be honest with you, we're going to do whatever the hell we want,
Yeah,
but we'll always take suggestions.
Oh, dude,
You know,
always.
if there's something that you're seeing on another podcast that you'd like us to do here in Rochester. But again, I do want to get out and about and meet some of these other people. I'm glad you brought these other guys up, the insensitive culture guys and
Oh yeah.
the GLS dude. And, like I said, I want to make this podcast all about Rochester somewhat and what's going on and, who we can help. And again, we appreciate y'all. Help us, man. Hit the subscribe button.
Yes.
Tell your friends, tell your neighbors.
Hit all the reacts.
Yeah.
This is a graphic we use on our show, but hey, it's true. Hit all them reacts.
Yep. Perfect.
It helps us grow.
Anything else, brother, or should we call it a day?
Honestly, I don't have anything else for right now, but I know that next week we'll be back on and we can talk about what we've predicted.
Yep.
Talk about all that.
We'll see who won the score drive here. Again, he's 24-21 Chiefs. I'm 31-21 Chiefs.
Yeah.
So we both think the Chiefs are going to do it. Everybody have a great Sunday. Have a great Super Bowl. Stay safe, and we'll see you next week.
Yes, this is Talking Music and Other Stuff podcast with Randy and M-Balm. Take it easy. Have a great day, and hopefully the 49ers win. So that's all I'm saying. So
I'd be all right with that.
I'd be all right with it. So have a great rest of your day, everybody. Bye.
Later.